Hey, what's going on, folks? I'm actually wearing the same shirt that I was wearing for the thumbnail here, which is cool. I think we have a few people on already, which is good to see. I actually posted something on my story, and I don't know if anyone watched it. I actually didn't check the analytics, but hopefully we got a few people on. I see the mastermind, and we have Masher on as well. So, a couple things here. Number one, I have this title here, 10K a month in under a year with affiliate marketing. And the thing is, it's just with Amazon revenue as well, which is pretty remarkable. That's one of the key questions. I actually got an email earlier today from a gentleman named Doug as well. And Doug said, is it still possible to get into affiliate marketing and use Amazon? Is it actually still profitable because the commission rate changed and there's been a lot of belly aching around that, rightfully so, of course. And the answer is yes, it can be done. What I'll be sharing today is a short clip. I'm not going to play the whole interview, but yesterday I interviewed Gaurav, who was on the show earlier last summer. And I think it was like August, June timeframe, something like that. He just got started with affiliate marketing in the COVID lockdown period. Basically, he didn't really have much experience with affiliate marketing or any kind of online business. He jumped in, bought a site, started making some improvements. The commission rate change hit in April. Around the same time, he discovered the KGR, some of my material, started publishing a ton of content. So the full interview is going to publish on next week, I think on Monday, but it'll definitely be next week, most likely Monday. And he's put in a lot of work. He published something like 500 articles, all KGR. He's using KGR exclusively for that portion of the content. And yes, the thing is he hit 10K in December of 2020, which is very cool. Another thing I want to mention up front is my flagship course, Multi-Profit Site, is open for enrollment. It is packed with valuable information, but this week from, right now, today until the end of day Friday, January 15th, there are bonuses available. So pretty cool bonuses. One of them is I'll audit your site. I'll record like a 30-minute audit. Once you launch the site, send it over to you. We'll have a little back and forth and make sure you have your questions answered. You'll also get access to a productivity course that I have. I don't push it too much. I don't talk about it too much, but you'll have access to that course. You will also get, what's the third thing? There's a third thing in there. I'll have to take a look at the sales material, but I forgot off the top of my head. There's a link in the description there, so it's very easy for you to go check out what is in the course. It's fairly substantial. Hold on, I can tell you here. Oh yeah, the other bonus is if you sign up for the premium level of the course, I'll double the amount of one-on-one coaching time, which is pretty substantial. I think all those bonuses amount to something like $1,290. So the course has 12 units. If you get the full package, there is a basic. It is the, sort of baseline package, and that is the basic one. That includes 8 units. So if you get the full thing, there's a few advanced units, which frankly, you don't really use those right away. They're more about growing the site and scaling. Overall, there are 61 videos and 57 lessons in the full 12 units. And in the basic, you would get 50 videos and 43 lessons. So packed pretty full, pretty awesome. And I'm going to hop over to the chat, say hello to some folks. And one thing I'll do, I'm going to play the clip of Gaurav early on here. I don't want to have a clickbait title or anything like that. So I'm going to play the clip or listen for a few minutes. You can kind of get the gist of it. But the point is, you can start a site. You can just earn from Amazon. Luckily, Gaurav is planning on diversifying and earning from other sources. So let me give shout outs to the fine people here in the chat joining me live. And if you are watching the replay later, thank you very much. Please leave a comment, say hello. I love the replays. Keep doing live streams to let me know that you do appreciate it. Eric, what's up? Kiki's on. We got Adrian, Waquez, Jaquez is finally catching this live. Says he's always late. David's on. A nomad overseas. What's up? And Jason, yeah, it says it's fun. It's funny. Jason was over. That's Jay over there in the chat. He was on Matt Giovanisi's Money Lab live stream. So I was over there for a minute just before we started, and pretty soon, I've been very busy, running back and forth, doing a couple things, trying to get started in the new year. And Matt and I need to collaborate. We're going to be joining each other on live stream soon. Jeanette, how often or how do you even publish that many posts? I tried hiring, but it felt more like a headache because of the editing. Very good, Jeanette. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Michelle's on and Martin too. So Jeanette, with, something like editing, that is something that, number one, you can give feedback to the writers to let them know the mistakes that they're making over and over again so that they hopefully can improve. And then your quality, the quality of the writing by the time it gets to you is going to be much better. Your editing will be reduced. The other trick is hiring an editor to do the thing that you're doing right now. So, and Fizzy, what's up from the Bahamas? Let's play the clip. Again, this is Gaurav. Full interview is coming out on Monday, or at least next week. Pretty sure it'll be Monday. Let's get it rolling here. We'll listen for a few minutes and see what this smart man has to share. Whoa, that's the wrong thing. That's just me showing my face there. Let's try again. Let's try this one. Hey, Gaurav, how's it going today?
Hi, Doug. I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. It's a pleasure to have you back on the show. A lot of people were asking me to get an update from you. So, what do you have for us? I'm kind of interested in like the last month, December of 2020, sort of hear revenue numbers, and then we're going to sort of back into how you got to where you are right now.
Okay, thank you so much. It's always good to be with you. And the December month, the last month, was the best month ever, and we crossed a milestone. When last we had met, I was running a single site. Now I have a portfolio of 8 sites, and the entire portfolio crossed $10,000 of revenue, and yeah, that was it, and it's kind of grown over the last few months. Some of it was a little bit of a carryover from the Black Friday weekend, which was in the last week of November. But yeah, I'm happy that we achieved that milestone, and this month as well, despite the some of the sites being hit by the Google update, we are on track to come pretty close to that number. So uh, yeah, the duck seems to be in the race.
Congrats. That's one of those milestones people really want to make 10K per month. And the fact that you hit it so quickly is very amazing. Now, we were chatting beforehand, but I want to make sure people understand the breakdown of the earnings and the fact that you have a portfolio of sites. And people may be thinking, hey, 8 sites, I don't want to have that many sites. So what's the breakdown of the revenue across your portfolio?
Okay, so the top 2 sites are contributing to most of the revenue. I would say a little over 80%, closer to 85, is what the top two are contributing. Those are the two that I focus the most time, energy, effort, and money on. And the others are kind of there because I was on an acquisition spree, so to speak, and there were good opportunities that came along. So I'm keeping them as a backup. I kind of put content on them as and when I can. But the top two, which contribute to 85% of the revenue, remain biggest focus.
Got it. And as far as the revenue breakdown from the sources, where are you earning money? I know a lot of people really still focus on Amazon just because it's such a big market. It converts really well. But, people are looking to diversify. So, yeah, where are you earning money from?
So all of this revenue, 100% of this has come from Amazon last month. I am looking to diversify. I haven't yet been successful in running ads on the site because I got them started, and then there was a problem of extra clicks where my account got blocked. So I'm still waiting out that block period to get them started again. The biggest site is knocking on the doors of Mediavine numbers. So I'm torn between going with Ezoic or uh, going directly with Mediavine because like it's probably a month or two away at most. So to answer your question, yes, it's entirely Amazon right now. But if I were to project 6 months out, I would be projecting it to be, not more than 50% Amazon. So I have a few things that I've been working on that have taken longer to materialize. But and I mentioned or alluded to them in our last discussion, which was around lead generation. But they are coming online. So I expect that Amazon would be about 50% and then 50% would be other sources.
Amazing. Yeah. Once you diversify that, it kind of lifts some of the weight, some of the stress off your shoulders. It'll feel a little nicer, and most likely you will earn more per visitor, and the sites are growing as well, which is pretty cool. So we've heard some of the stats, some of the numbers. We're going to talk more about that. Let's sort of go back to the beginning for the people that didn't catch the first interview. Can you give a little intro on your background and how you got started with niche sites? Because it wasn't really that long ago, right?
Yes, so it was exactly when the COVID lockdown happened. So it was April of 2020, and I bought an existing site about 10 odd days before the Amazon rate cut. So that was a bit of a bummer. But since then, I ended up putting a whole lot of content on there, and 100% of that was KGR. I really loved the framework. And because of that, the site has grown very significantly. So that's the basically the COVID lockdown helped me focus and get this going. Apart from that, I have my own business uh, here, which has got nothing to do with these sites. But now, I mean, $10,000 a month is a fair bit of money, right? So
Especially the growth trajectory that you're on, which is pretty impressive. So, and what about your all right. So that was Gaurav. And like I said, I'm not going to play the full interview, still needs to be edited, but it was such a powerful, just opening and knowing, hey, you can make good money. You could hit the 5-figure per month mark with Amazon still, even if you're just getting started. I mentioned in the chat, a few people were asking, how long did it take? How much content has he published? He started roughly in, I think, March of 2020. I can't remember the exact month, but roughly when the COVID stuff was coming down and things were getting shut down. He really didn't have much of a background, which you mentioned here, in affiliate marketing or internet marketing in general. I think he has obviously some excellent business chops, and we talk about some of those things in the interview. So it's only about, what is that, 8-9 months, something like that, 9 months or so, depending on where you're starting exactly and when you're ending. He's continuing to do really well, and I will let you know that he's impacted by the December 2020 Google algorithm update. And we talk about it. The thing is, though, he's still on track to make, I think, still 10K this month. So the interesting thing is when you use KGR or other long tail keyword techniques, a lot of times you don't have a handful of posts that are getting the majority of the traffic, the old 80-20 rule. Usually you have this big long tail where a lot of your traffic is hitting like a variety of pages. So he was impacted and traffic took a little bit of a hit, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. So I've talked to a couple of my students who actually lost some rankings, and some people went from, say, number 2 to number 6 or number 7. There's a student of mine that I'm working with in he's really looking for a specific reason, like, hey, I got this backlink. Do you think that is the reason why I'm having issues? And no, it's probably not that. He went from high on the first page to a little bit lower on the first page. It's not like he went back to page 7 or page 3. He's just lost a few positions. He's still on the first page. Google, with these latest updates over the last few years, a lot of times there's just a shuffling. So it's not like there's a catastrophic mistake. It's just a little tweak here and there. Now, I have seen some people that took a lot of a traffic hit. Sometimes we can't really trace it back. There's no good reason. A couple of my students have seen pretty big traffic increases. And if you don't listen to my podcast, you should check it out. There's an episode coming out tomorrow, I think. Yep, tomorrow, the 14th, Thursday, where I talked to Christy, and she recently hit 5,000 per month over the course of 2 years. Real slow and steady. It seems like none of the Google updates have impacted her except this last one, where she got a pretty significant traffic bump and an earnings increase correspondingly. So pretty cool. And we'll be going forward with a case study where Christy and I are working to double her revenue in 2021. So I've got several case studies that I'm going to be documenting over on Niche Site Project. We'll talk about it some on the YouTube channel as well. So before I move on to some of the Q&A stuff, I want to thank our sponsor, Ezoic and their Site Speed Accelerator. If you haven't checked it out, you should. It'll help your site load faster. They guarantee an 80 or higher on the Google Page Speed Insight score. So if you're struggling with that, if you're not quite sure what to do, you could check it out. There's no reason not to. They guarantee that 80 or higher. And there's a 7-day free trial. There's a link in the description so you can check it out. And, even if you're not going to sign up, follow the link, head over there. I think there's some chat thing. There's some way to contact support or send them a message. Just say, hey, thanks for sponsoring Doug. It helps out. If they get a couple of those messages, it's like, oh, wow, we're really happy we're sponsoring Doug. And it helps me bring these shows to you, these weekly live streams. So much appreciated. It looks like we got a handful of people on. All right, we're going to answer some more questions now. I'm going to change cameras here momentarily. Boom. And one thought that I had around this live stream, in case people want to do it, potentially I can do some live keyword research using a free tool. Uber suggests an actual real free tool. I haven't used it in a long time. I pulled it up just to get it ready to do the live stream. And, there's a couple pop-ups, old Neil Patel popping up, trying to get you to sign up for some kind of webinar or something like that. So some of those have gone away, although I wanted to bring the full experience. So maybe some other time, but if people are indeed interested, potentially we can go that route. I'm going to put our little sponsorship banner, Niche Website Builders. They do content. They have some done for you sites available. And I am participating in their Shotgun Skyscraper campaign. I have the budget package. They've been working with me for, I think, 5 months. They just sent me a report today. I think I have something like 58 links. I haven't gotten the latest domain rating average for those links, but I think it's probably about 48 to 50, roughly in that range. I can tell you that the site that they are working on for me to build links to, they published 2 pieces of content so far. They've gotten, like I said, close to 58 links, I think. The cool thing is it was a brand new site. So we've got a lot of links going to the site. It started off with a domain rating is reported on Ahrefs of like 2, something like that. It was very low, super low, maybe 0.2. What's the lowest you've ever seen? Is probably that. It is now a domain rating of 48. So it's jumped like tremendously over the last couple months, and they're doing a great job building a ton of links. All right, so let's answer some questions here. I'm going to make this little banner a little bit smaller. You can save 10% if you get the link building package with Niche Website Builders. You follow the link in the description. You get those coupon codes. If you order content, they'll give you 10% more. They're doing great work over there. All right. I think I can actually put some of these questions up on the screen. So I'm going to put this little banner apparently right over my face. That's not a good spot. What if we put it on my eyes? That's weird. That's weirder than I thought it was going to look. Okay, Niche Website Builders. We'll put that up there. That's better. That works. That works. I haven't looked in the chat in a while, so I bet there's a bunch of questions in here. Thank you for asking. Helps makes it go a little bit easier. And I'm going to go ahead and put those, I'm going to put these questions right here so I can read them. Devin says, my niche is flat earth. How can I monetize? That's great. That's perfect. I listened to the Bill Burr podcast, and he was talking about like the flat earth stuff. Like why would people like even, what's the situation with that? I have not yet gone down the rabbit hole of watching the flat earth videos and stuff, but let's brainstorm here. Are there any products on Amazon that lend themselves to flat earth stuff? Maybe compasses, maps, or maybe that's the opposite. I think you have an opportunity for like some sort of like courses, right? I love online courses. You can create some courses and teach why, the earth is flat. Or if you want to go the other route, you can try to teach people why the earth is not flat. I'm not here to politicize this. And if, whatever you think is just fine with me. Love that question. Thank you for asking. All right. Oh, and Sheikha says, I think I picked the wrong niche, and I was like, hey, why don't you switch? Why do you think you're in the wrong niche? And you're in the MMO, which is the make money online, and I'm at the middle. Going back is going, far ahead is far. So I think maybe we lost some punctuation in part of that. But the thing is, if you think you're in the wrong niche or you've made some mistake, remove the website portion. Let's say you got a degree and you're a lawyer, but you hate being a lawyer and you hate your daily life. You don't want to practice law and you think, I hate this. I should do something else. But you're afraid that, hey, I invested time in becoming a lawyer. I've been doing lawyer stuff for years. And you think this is a bad idea because I'm wasting all this, time that I put in before, all these resources and stuff. Sunk cost fallacy, talked about it a couple weeks ago. So the point is, you should make a decision based on what you have right now. Don't worry about what you've spent before, time you invested, or anything like that. Spend a few minutes listening to, some podcasts talking about the sunk cost fallacy. It is one of those cognitive biases that we have that will make you make dumb decisions, basically, that don't make sense. So if you're in a bad niche now, it's even worse if you stick with it and continue to invest time. It's much better if you just stop, cut your losses, and move on from there. Mastermind says, I'm specifically targeting the goal of 10K per month through Amazon. Please let me know what should be avoided and what should be focused on, like the price range, niches, UK or US Amazon. Thank you. So basically, take my course. There's a link in the description, and you lobbed it to me. And I could just tell you that right now. What you need, probably the mastermind, is you're on a lot of these live streams. So I know that you know a lot of the things that you're supposed to do. I know that you know a lot of the marketing things, you know a lot of the keyword research, and you potentially know too much. You potentially have too much knowledge at this point in time, which sounds funny. But the bad part is you probably have your brain filled. I'm making a lot of assumptions here, but go with me on this. You probably know all these different things that you can do, but it's very difficult for you to pick the thing that you should do. And those things that should be avoided, I don't cover them in the course, or sometimes I flat out say, don't waste your time on this right now. You're much better off spending your time somewhere else. Classic example, say like your WordPress theme, or maybe like plugins to do a certain thing. In fact, I got into a small debate with someone I'm coaching in the last week. They really wanted to get a specific plugin to do a specific thing. It's just a fucking waste of time. don't worry about it. No one gives a shit about the plugin. They don't give a shit about the functionality in there. Like, you're going to end up wasting time with like finding the plugin. Potentially you're going to spend money on it. There's going to be configurations that you're going to have to do for something that no one even really cares about. It's probably a waste of time. So there's a lot of things, probably Mastermind, that you can spend your time on. You probably know all the things that you need to do. It's very key to do them in the right order and to ignore the noise, the things that are not really going to help out. What's up, eBuys24? And some input on the flat earth stuff. Good input. I'm not up to speed on all of that. Kiki, what's going on? Good to see you on here and participating in the chat. Very, very helpful to have folks in the chat. And Kiki mentions to Sheikha, I don't think it's necessarily bad to be in the Make Money Online. One thing is to bombard about get rich quick schemes, or another to publish videos on finance info and then link a course here and there and so on. So one thing with the Make Money Online area that I've seen, and I see questions on this. I think I was on my friend WP Eagle, Alex Cooper, on his live stream recently. And I mean, these kind of questions come in essentially every day. But someone's like, oh, should I spend time working on like ClickFunnels as an affiliate? And unfortunately, what happens often, like if you're a beginner and you're getting into the Make Money Online niche, it just doesn't make sense because you haven't made money online yet. So how the fuck are you going to teach someone how to make money online if you haven't done it yourself? It just doesn't make sense. You don't have the credibility. You don't have like the authentic stories of, nightmares. I could tell you, nightmare stories where I had a site, was making $500 a day, gets penalized. It sucks, right? You have to go through some of those things. You have to go through the challenges. So if you're just out there, selling ClickFunnels to other people, trying to show them how to sell ClickFunnels, like it ends up being a really weird situation. That is why Make Money Online is such a weird industry. There's a lot of people just selling dreams and making it sound super easy. And I'm here to tell you, if you do take the course, the mastermind and other folks out there, there's no like get rich quick, right? It takes time, takes a lot of work. So I mentioned Christy earlier, podcast coming out tomorrow. By the way, it's Doug.show. You can find it on all the big networks out there. So whatever your podcast listener is, you should be able to find it. 2 years she's been working at it. So very slowly over time, and she's done it in a obscure niche. I didn't even know I didn't know it existed. I didn't know there were products around it. I didn't know if it was going to work. It was not one of those traditional sort of niches. And I was like, you know what? I think it'll work. If you're into it, go for it. And it is something she's passionate about. 2 years she's working at it. The other thing is I smartly named this specific live stream 10K per month, under a year with affiliate marketing. And by the way, it's all Amazon. I know a lot of other people just joined up. I played the clip at the very beginning. So if you missed it, you can always rewind once we finish up. The thing is, Gaurav did this in roughly nine months or so. He published 500 articles though. That is a lot. That is a lot. I think that's roughly 2 per day. I don't know how many days that is, but if we do some rough math in our head, he's publishing like 2 articles per day. He's hired a big team. He's obviously invested a lot. He will be documenting all this stuff in the written word over on Niche Site Project, my blog. And if you want to take a look there, you can. Oh, we've got some cool people here in the chat. So we got Robin. Robin, I need to email you. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more on some of the stuff you've done with KGR. And if anyone missed the interview with Robin, Google Robin and Doug Cunnington, or search on YouTube and you'll be able to find the interview. Pretty cool stuff. And of course, Derek, what's happening? All right. And Minash says, do I need to be an expert in every niche I want to start? No, you don't. Over time, you probably will develop some expertise. I would advise you to don't start too many things at once. Just do one thing at a time. I think if you do let's say you want to, here's one of those classic things, right? You're like, all right, I'm going to start like 4 sites right now. And that way they're going to be aging, and I'll maybe have 4 sites in a year that are all making money. The problem is you're probably going to make a mistake. You're definitely going to make a mistake, probably multiple mistakes. And you're going to end up making the same mistake on 4 different sites or 6 different sites. And then when you figure out that you made a mistake and you have to fix it, instead of just fixing it in the one place, you now have to fix it in the 4 sites that you started. Let's say you made a mistake with some sort of a content linking situation and you publish 10 articles on each one of those 4 different sites. All of a sudden, instead of making the mistake one time on one site and you can fix it, not a big deal, you're going to make it 40 times and you're going to think, this is a waste of time. I hate doing this kind of work. That's some of the work that I really don't enjoy. Oh, Jeanette says, I messaged you on the Miles Beckler Live. I've had some success with KGR. Awesome. I really got focused in October and made $3 in November and 11 in November, December 42 and 16 so far this month, and less than 20 posts with KGR. That's awesome. Jeanette, please send me an email, doug@nichesiteproject.com. I would love to hear more about what you're working on. And yeah, that's amazing. Very cool. Very cool. Love to see that. All right. Total Therapy Solutions says, Money Lab or you? I won. That's cool. Glad you hopped over here. If you have any questions, Total Therapy, let me know. And if people don't know what Total Therapy is talking about, my friend Matt has a live stream and he scheduled his 1 hour before mine. So sometimes I'll hop over there, Money Lab. So check it out. He has a good live stream. I think, he didn't check with me beforehand. Not that he has to get my permission, but I was like, shit, man, that is right before mine. So it could work out good, but a lot of times his goes long. So I'm not sure. We'll see if when his ends, if he brings people over. That could work for us. That could work. Nomad Overseas says that drones are probably popular for the Flat Earth Society. Smart. All right. Goodness says, I'm looking to outsource everything from website design to article and link building. My goal is 500 articles before the year ends. What's the recommendation for who to outsource the job to? You're making it easy on me here. The sponsor of this segment here is Niche Website Builders. They're a great company to work with. Obviously, they pay me, so keep that in mind. But what I'll advise you is they have like custom packages that you can buy, and some of those are on expired domains. So those are a little tougher to find. Please do follow my link and you can sort of browse around, see if you could find anything. And actually you could ask them. There's a little chat bubble that'll pop up and just say, hey, I'm interested in the expired domain. The thing is, I've seen some really amazing data where you can get those expired domains. They publish a ton of content, and then it really explodes with the amount of traffic and keywords you could rank for because it's in the same niche and everything. All right. Total Therapy says, any advice for physical therapists building a PT-related blog? Is EAT too big of a barrier? No, I think it would be totally fine. I knew 1 or 2 physical therapists that were publishing on their blog. I think it really helped out. The thing is, if you're a physical therapy practice, then you have EAT because you're an expert. So I think it's totally fine. Will says, what are my thoughts on a history niche like medieval history? Can you outrank Wikipedia and encyclopedias? I don't know. I haven't done that personally, so I can't comment on that. I think generally anything's possible. However, my assumption is you may be able to outrank Wikipedia and other big authorities on very obscure long tail topics. It's probably one of those things where if someone's looking for something that is specific, you may boil it down to something that you're pulling that weird long tail traffic, where Wikipedia, most of the time people are just looking for that sort of thing. So I am not sure. That's kind of a tough one, but there could be angles that you can get into. Example, actually, I got a great example here. I watch a lot of YouTube. All right, I watch a lot of YouTube myself. I'm going to switch cameras here. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I've been watching like some woodworking videos. I got this one of those Craig jigs. I'm sure there's some people out there that are woodworkers, and I got one of those. So I've been watching some projects and stuff like that. And you know how YouTube is, they'll start feeding you other stuff, kind of see what you're going for. And I saw one where these people were building a off the grid cabin using only pallet wood. So they would collect old pallets. They had quite a bit, and they, brought it out, and they actually used the nails from the pallets and built this little structure, a little cabin. There's a little stove in there. Really cool, super cool. It had like 25 million views. Insane, right? That channel, I was like, what the fuck is this channel doing? So I took a look, and they were building like medieval structures, and most of the videos have millions of views. So the point is, a blog on, medieval history or something like that, I'm not sure. But if you take a little slice of that, which is building that was like Viking structures, medieval dirt homes, like sod houses and all that stuff, I don't need to keep doing that. Quotes. But basically, super obscure. They're probably making who knows how much with that number of views, and their videos are long. It was like 30 minutes or so, and I watched like 80% of it. I fast forwarded a couple spots. I was like, I get the point here. But you could always sort of like slice it into a thing that works for you, most likely. Wesley's on. Good to see you, buddy. Long time no talk. And Emmanuel says, no swearing, Doug. The thing is, I don't run ads, so I can swear. My sponsors are apparently okay with it. So I do cuss, and we will do it here. All right. And Goodness says, you've checked niche website builders. You're going to order. Da-da-da-da-da. So you're going to get 150,000 words. How many do I need to order to get you 500 articles? So just do the math, however long you want the articles to be. They can do the keyword research for you. That's what they're doing for me on one of my sites. So I think it's a fine way to go. Shaka says, how about home decor? I don't know. I'm not in that niche, but basically probably most any niche is fine. Almost all niches are going to seem like kind of saturated once you start looking and do a ton of research. All right, Goodness is asking more and more questions. So also considering the company is an expert in Amazon affiliate, what's the ROI investment on a 500 article website written by niche website builders? That is an impossible question to answer. And I mean, it's not a worthwhile question. So there's no way to calculate it. You could find examples where it's very high. You could find examples where it's low. And the fact is, I don't even know if they've built a 500 article website. The Jules Factory says, I'm interested in which product category seems to be selling best, books or baby toys, etc. That I don't know. I don't think anybody on other than Amazon knows, but I would suggest you find something that you're interested in. That'll be helpful when things get, sort of tough and stuff like that and challenging. And I would browse through the products. Most everything is selling. I would not recommend books though, because those are generally lower priced, and you're going to end up, you have to sell a shitload of books to make a lot of money. All right. Uzar says, hey, is KGR a strategy to rank quick, or can it be used to grow a website to 4 or 5 figures per month long term? It is both. It's both of those. So you can rank quicker if it's a new site or if it's an established one. And if you rewind to the very beginning of this video, I played the clip from Gaurav. Full interviews coming out next week, by the way. Gaurav is making 5 figures per month using KGR. And Kesar says, win niche site project. I'm not sure what that means, so you can rephrase your question. I'm not sure what that's all about. Brino says, I have a 1-year-old website. I lost a big portion with the December update. Do I recommend adding more content, or should I start focusing on building backlinks? I'm targeting low competition keywords where the top performing pages have no links. I would recommend 2 things. So I had a student recently try and get in touch with me about this very thing. His traffic was starting to creep up. He had a few terms ranking pretty well. I can't remember how much content he has. So generally, I advise you improve the existing content, make sure it's in good shape. You can use a tool like Page Optimizer Pro or Market Muse to improve and optimize the content. The other part is you can add a little bit more content to those existing posts, usually in the form of frequently asked questions. Those seem to perform really well. You can also add more content, but I would do the improvements first. I went through that exact process for a site that I purchased in it was the very end of 2019. So in 2020, I improved the 25 articles that were on that page using the techniques that I just mentioned. I added 8 new articles, just 8 new articles. Traffic was up by 40% in 2020, and then earnings were up by 73% as well. So it went from $1,500 in the total year of 2019 to about $2,600 in 2020. That's a site that I'm going to be doing a case study on as well. So do remember to check that out. So overall, Brino, improve the content first and then add more content and then build backlinks. You can build backlinks as well at the same time that you're adding content. Sean, what's going on? I just launched my first site. There are several topics in my niche that higher DA domains have written, but I feel like I could write a much better article. Is it worth going for? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. I think if you, number one, you feel like you can write a better article, well, that's good right off the bat. The other part is looking at the searcher intent. So I know it's good if you think you can write a better article. It's very good if you see that the searcher intent is a little bit off from what is ranking with that higher domain authority site. The domain authority is definitely a good judge, but I mean, when it comes down to it, it's individual pages. It's not the domain that's ranking, it's individual pages. So if you can serve that specific searcher a little bit better and it's more specific, that's good. The other thing is there's other long tail keywords associated. So if you dive down a certain route and you really cover that topic better, there's a good chance you're going to rank better. The unfortunate part is, questions like this, Sean, it's like you never know. And if you have a volume of keywords, there's a good chance, if you publish 20 or 30 of them, you're going to, taking action is good, but you're going to be able to obtain some data and you're like, oh, these worked really good. This topic area seems to be one that is resonating well. I'm going to publish more content on those topics that are working well. So you have data that then you can react to and take more action on. All right. Rajarshi. Got it, I think. Hey, Doug, I want to start a new Amazon affiliate blog. If I follow the KGR technique, how many blogs to write so that I can make $20,000 a month on the end of the year? Suggest me. Okay. So I observe a few things. One, you put your message in like 3 times, And it sounds like maybe you're a beginner. So I think that is a great aspiration. I think if you want to make $20,000 a month by the end of the year, you're going to have to publish a whole lot. You're probably going to have to hire experts to help you out. And essentially, I would highly recommend checking out the interview that's going to come out next week with Gaurav. He's done half of what you're trying to do. So if you watch the interview and you think Gaurav is a smart dude and he's doing some pretty sophisticated things, I'm not sure if I could do that, you may want to taper down on your expectations. So you would have to publish a whole lot of content. I would say if you're just following the KGR, which I don't recommend, by the way, I don't even recommend what you're describing. So if I'm answering your question directly, I would say you'd probably have to publish, 1,000 to 2,000 articles. I can tell you, I don't think publishing 1,000 to 2,000 KGR articles is the best way to make $20K per month. I just don't think so. But those are the constraints that you gave me in the question, and I am super literal when I answer these questions. So I would say you should probably not just use Amazon. You should probably earn from different sources. I would highly recommend, if you're aiming for 20K a month, I would highly recommend you don't try to publish a ton of articles. I recommend you spend more time promoting the content, finding high ticket items to promote, and probably branching out to many different affiliate programs. I am far behind in the questions here, so I'm going to try and go a little faster. Ed Wood, what's going on? Do I think there's an angle into the competitive personal finance area? That is a great question. Yes, I do think so. So I am actually thinking of dipping my toes into that area. I think it basically amounts to like finding a specific niche. So I would aim for the financial independence area. So I think there's a way in, and if you look back at some of the, the big companies that are around now, like that started as personal blogs, like they are huge now, but they started, several years ago and sort of took a fresh angle at it. Now with the financial independence stuff that I potentially am going to dabble with, I don't know if it'll be this year. Probably. I need to finish some things out, complete them before I start anything new. But I'm going to aim in the podcast area most likely. So I'm not sure if, that's an angle that you would take where you're like, okay, I'm going to do YouTube or I'm going to do a podcast instead. There's, a high likelihood that you have the potential to carve out your own little spot. And the thing is, like with Make Money Online or affiliate marketing and stuff, I started from nothing. It was several years ago, but everyone has their own little take, their spin on how they want to cover stuff. So with that in mind, it's like there's always sort of an angle that you could take. So hopefully that was helpful. And if you do have, some specific expertise, that could be very valuable. Oh, Thane's on, what's going on? And Jules, I said medieval. I think you mean medieval. Yeah, you know what? I obviously. Oh yeah, medieval. You know what? Honestly, I don't even know. I would need someone to just say it for me. I obviously mispronounce things probably far too often. Actually, I have a funny story to take even longer and delay the chat even more. In one of my early videos, I think I said sophomore, right? Like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior. And there was a comment and it was like, you're a moron. It's sophomore, which is true. Yeah, I'm just talking here. And look, even I can have a YouTube channel, which is amazing. Yeah, that is what I meant. Jules Factory. All right. Uzar says, building affiliate sites are great, but how would it be if we were to drop ship those products and keep 100% of the margins? What's the reason people usually go for affiliate sites rather than this? Good question. So you won't keep 100% of the margins, but you'll make more. You'll make higher margins. One of the reasons is it's a little bit lower friction to get started with affiliate sites. With drop shipping, there's a high likelihood you're going to have to talk directly with suppliers and do more like feet on the ground, like doing stuff. Not physically like going to visit them, but you'll have to like find their phone numbers, cut deals, make things happen. You have to deal with some customer service. So when you actually peel back the amount of work, it's probably close to the same. It's just like a different level of work and different kinds of work. I highly recommend you check out my interviews with John Murphy. So he's using the KGR along with dropshipping to do really well, and Duke. I've entered both of those guys multiple times and they are kicking ass. So Duke actually started with affiliate marketing, and then when Amazon changed their commission rates back in April of 2020, he took that to push him, right? It pushed him into working directly with the manufacturers. So he took his revenue much higher. And yes, his margins are much higher than they are with affiliate marketing. He still has affiliate links for certain products, but there's some things where he can make just far more money. All right, Navesh, what's going on? Mohammed says, I was preparing and writing an upcoming niche project. This will be my first one. Good luck. Everybody wish Mohammed luck. And Navesh is from India. Okay, cool. And shout out to Adrian, who is one of the fine moderators in the chat. And I think, you know what? I saw a super chat pop up from Kiki. Very, very cool. So I'm trying to get to it. Where is that? Kiki, right here. All right. And I don't mention much about the super chats, but of course, love to get them. It's like tipping me, very helpful. And Kiki says, if the expired domain has many natural existing backlinks and we do a proper 301 redirect, the existing URL to similar new content, is it okay to develop from scratch without fear of Google later punishing you? Generally, yes. If it is in actually expired domain, existing links, the thing you need to look out for, make sure it's in the same niche. It needs to be in the same like area. So if you have, let's say it's a beer brewing site, something related to beer brewing, and you get a brewery that's gone out of business, that's probably pretty good. Now, you may want to watch out though, because let's say I have, this homebrew beer site, and I find a brewery and it's located in a specific area. It's not a nationwide brewery or anything like that. It's just a local brew pub, and it's in Rhode Island. And all the links are like Rhode Island related links. There could be a little bit of a disconnect, but the fact that you're in the same niche area is good. So that probably will help you out. But as long as you stay in the same niche, you should be in good shape. As far as fear of Google punishing you later, really, if you build links, if you don't build links, if you do a 301 redirect, you're always kind of at risk. So I know some of the people that you have, or some of the people on the chat that have asked questions about these certain topics, like, hey, I lost traffic, lost some rankings from the December update. They don't have any links, right? It's about something else. So the fact is, either you should always be scared of Google and getting punished later, or you should just say, all right, like some bad stuff could happen potentially with the 301 redirect. If it's not a great domain, it's a little bit more risky. Thanks for the super chat, Kiki. Everyone, thank Kiki for doing that. It's cool. And Adrian and other fine people that are helping moderate. Much appreciated. What's up, Hema? All right. Mukesh says, how much content should I be posting as soon as I launch a new blog? Does this parameter actually matter in terms of SEO for the site's future? So basically, there's a few factors. I recommend that you probably launch with something like 20 to 50 articles, something like that. And when I say launch, like you don't have to publish them all at once, but just like get some content out there. Don't publish 10 and then think, all right, like I'm done, like wait for the money to roll in. Publish a decent amount of content. As far as the amount of content and how often you post, does that come into play for SEO? Not directly, right? So it's not like, hey, Google sees you publishing every day and they give you credit for it and boost you in the algorithm or something. It's not like that. It's more like the more content that you could publish and have aging and slowly getting over the sandbox, the better. So I would recommend essentially a balance between publishing as much as you can and your budget. So whatever your constraint is, figure it out. Maybe you can only publish one article every 2 weeks. That's fine. Publish what you can. If you could publish, 2 articles per day, then do that. Just do that. Mehdi, what's going on? Kamikaze says, push more content or build links, 6-month-old website. I kind of recommend a balance of the two. So if you've just been publishing content, then spend some time on the link building, or vice versa if you've done the opposite. Always Maxing says, some SEOs say to backlink your category pages. Is this helpful and natural? I am not familiar with that, so I don't know. I'm not sure if it's helpful. It seems like it potentially could be natural. So let's say I have a category on Niche Site Project about keyword research. Potentially, it would be normal if someone was like, Doug writes a lot about SEO. I really like his keyword research stuff. They would link to that. So I could see that being a natural thing. I don't know. I don't know, though, if it's helpful. Probably. Links are helpful. Those are good. Mukesh says, Pinterest and Facebook group, a better alternative to traffic in the early stages of a website when organic doesn't actually come. Yes, if you enjoy either one of those things, those would be fantastic to bring in traffic and build a community. Morshed says, and I missed putting that one up. Mukesh, social traffic, yeah, go for it. Morshed says, what's the maximum number of product review blog post is reasonable? I'm worried that if I have too many reviews, an Amazon program might see it as a red flag. I think the quality matters quite a bit. So I don't think there's a maximum number of product reviews. I know some sites just have product reviews. I've heard a lot of people really favor that. I would recommend that you do like 50% of your content to be informational and 50% to be product reviews. You could publish more informational if you want. Jeanette says, when is a good time to attempt more competitive keywords like non-KGR? I would say if you're getting traction, you can go ahead and start experimenting and see how your site reacts. Highly recommend doing that in the topic areas that you're ranking well for KGR. So Jeanette, you mentioned you're getting some traffic, you're earning some money. Probably there's a couple common, got my tongue tied there. There's probably a couple common topics or keywords with those posts that are getting the most traffic. So I would lean into the topic areas that are working and go for more competitive terms there. That can be in the form of like higher search volumes or potentially just more competition. Mohammed says, I'm scared of writing. What should I do? Go to my channel. There's a little search bar. Search for writing content. The quick tip is to outline your content ahead of time. You actually could hire someone if you wanted to do the research and create outlines for you, and then you could write it. Or if you want to, you can create the outline yourself and it makes it much easier to write content, whether it's informational or if it's a product review, if it's in Make Money Online, or if it's in sort of an affiliate marketing here. Oh, Gabrielle says, you got my like. It's awesome content. Yeah, thanks everyone for hitting the thumbs up. Much appreciated. Morshed says, how can you monetize a how-to article blog post? Two main ways. Number one, you can use display ads. I like Ezoic, another one of the sponsors of the show. Another simple way is just AdSense. Pretty easy to get into AdSense. You can also monetize with just products that you have affiliate links for. So the thing is, if you can recommend a product that helps someone do that how-to faster, cheaper, or easier, then you should recommend the product. So for example, right, some people are asking about, hey, how should I write content? I'm not really sure, just like Mohammed did here. Well, you could hire someone to write it, right? That helps you do it faster and easier. It's not cheaper, but those are kind of the three things: faster, cheaper, easier. If you have a product that can help someone do something, then recommend that product. And Adrian echoes the same thing. So yeah, you could do ads, and it depends on how much traffic. Yep. All right. Must the Gamer, what's up? Linda says, Pro Blogger is my go-to for content creation. Yeah, a lot of people have had good luck there. Oh, the Mastermind gives a shout out for liking the video. So thanks for doing that. We actually have a decent number. Oh, there's Bosnia saying hello. We got the Crayon Lo-Fi. And let's be techie. You do not recommend the KGR, or for this question, not recommending it? Well, I made up the KGR, so I definitely recommend it. The question is the question that I was talking about before, and for people that are just joining in, someone asks, hey, I'm going to publish only KGR content. I want to make $20,000 by the end of the year. And it sounded like maybe it was a beginner. I said, I think that's a bad idea. That is a poor approach. That's like a brute force approach to just publishing a ton of content. And if you're a beginner, there's a lot of mistakes you're going to make. So I recommend the KGR, especially for people to getting started. But if someone is like, hey, I want to make $20,000 per month by the end of the year, I mean, you're working on some different time frame. That is very difficult to do when you're a beginner. Very difficult. So I like the KGR, but I was answering a question that has some faulty premises in there. Hopefully that cleared it up. All right. Evan says, let's say my main keyword is best hockey stick. Should I set that post as the home page or as an inner page? An inner page. So the main issue with that is that's how people used to build sites in like 2010 to 2013. Basically, right when I was getting started, we would make our home page the affiliate article because most links often go to the home page. So it was easier for us to rank that sort of main keyword. But that's how people did things a long time ago. Nowadays, you'll have like a normal homepage where there's some like links to some inner pages. And there's like content. It's not trying to rank, or there's links to long form content. The homepage is not really trying to rank for anything specific. One of my friends, WP Eagle, he has a couple public case studies. I recommend you check out like best roof box. He has a big playlist of the whole thing too. So, all right. Devin Pig says, thanks for the flat earth. Can you do a quick keyword research to see volume in words? I won't do that here because I don't know what keywords, or I won't do it right now. So if you can feed me some keywords, I could pull up Uber Suggest. That's one of the things I mentioned I maybe would check into. Just doing a little live Uber Suggest action here. I don't know any of the keywords. I don't know yeah, so we could check out some of the volumes, but I would recommend you do your own research to find the good ones. Mike is on. I finally had my first $100 month. Now I need to add a couple zeros. Congrats, Mike. That is awesome. Good to hear that. All right, and Robin, who I trust his pronunciation, says it's medieval as is medieval. 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 I don't know. It's like a kid reading. It's just learning. All right. Mean, what's going on? Chris, how are you going to handle the core Web Vitals update coming up in May? Or am I going to disable any ads you may be running prior to the update, or wait and see what the update does? I'm a wait and see kind of guy. Wait and see. Annis, what's up? Mary. Ed says, what do I think will be more popular in the near future, YouTube or blogs? I'm very, I would encourage you to aim for YouTube for a lot of ways. Like if you're like, hey, I'm just getting started, and I think the thing is, we're talking about the personal finance stuff. All right, we're talking personal finance stuff. Leaning back to your other question, I would say you have a better chance to grow quickly in the YouTube area. But the thing is, I would potentially do both of them at the same time, and they would help each other out. So the thing is with YouTube, it's an interesting time to work on YouTube, knowing that, hey, you know what, super competitive. It may be a multiple year grind. And the fact is, you're going to be building skills that people think are extreme. I mean, they are extremely valuable to have. I have this little studio. I have a, basically this little setup here is a roughly like $1,000 studio, but it is a kind of a higher end, and you could do it for much cheaper. I mean, my webcam over here does a pretty good job. A lot of people that I do interviews with are like, dude, your camera is so good. It's not really, it is a $100 Logitech, fairly straightforward camera. The thing is, the skills that you could build with YouTube are very valuable. So you can use those on other projects and that sort of thing. There's potential that you actually would be able to rank and get more traffic and potentially earn more using a blog, even in the personal finance space. So it's a tough call. I think you should go to the medium that you're best at producing. Mehdi says, with KGR, what's the minimum product price that you want to target? Anything. I don't care how cheap it is. I'll go for it. Ali, what's going on? And Flowback says, if multiple forums are ranking in Google, is that a low competition keyword? Most of the time, yeah. Not always, but most of the time. I think I just scratched my nose. Next, we have, okay. If anyone, all right. So if you ask a question, you only need to ask one time. That is it. I see them popping in here. Man, Flowback was really going crazy. Amin says, I started a site that's under 7 months old. It has 80 articles. I believe Google is still putting me in the sandbox. I think that's possible. I get 1 to 3 visitors per day. Is this normal? Should I be worried? For the record, I've built some sites in the past that were successful out of the sandbox sooner. So I've seen this as well, and I wouldn't be too worried. I've seen some people some sites rather, not people, some sites in the sandbox for closer to a year. So potentially, I mean, do you think it is potentially a more competitive niche? I actually started a site last summer, and it is in a more competitive niche, and it is getting a little more traffic, but it's very slow going, slower than I expected. Oh, Ali says, is it okay to target keywords that have zero all in title? The answer is yes. So I find this to be an odd question. Ali, shed some light on this for me. If you use the KGR formula and you plug in zero all in title, you end up with zero KGR, which is less than 0.25. So that is the best you can do. So why is it that people ask that question? It's less than 0.25. So why is there uncertainty around that one? Should be a no-brainer. Recreational says, if your niche covers 5 sports, would I concentrate on one sport at a time or hit all of them when you're just starting out? I like this question. I would probably publish all right, I'll give you 2 options. Number 1, I like focusing on one niche at a time. That's good. One sport at a time. However, I think it could be interesting if you have enough revenue or if you have enough capital to invest early on, I would publish on all 5 of them, say like 10 to 15 articles. Probably one of those is going to stand out, hopefully, and then you can get data and then figure out which one you should put more time into initially. So one of them is going to be just guessing and aiming for the one that you think is less competitive. And the other option is to publish content on everything and then get data back and then do the one that seems best. Molten Ice says, what are my thoughts on Lasso? Which affiliate link plugin do I recommend? So I'm using Lasso on one site. If you're just starting and you're just using an affiliate plugin on one site, Lasso can be okay. It's about $20 a month. One of the problems with Lasso is if you have, let's say you have 8 sites, you have to pay $20 per month for each one of those sites. So it becomes fairly expensive. And if you're earning money already, then sure, that could be fine. The problem is with Lasso, like there's no sort of package deal, which is kind of unusual. And it's just like a monthly payment. So I'm using it on one site and it's very good for like data and analytics. They've made many improvements. Like when I first started using it, like the interface was a little rough. You couldn't do some basic functionality. You couldn't even, when I first got it, you couldn't even have a VA use it. They had to log in with like an admin user, right? And I was like, I don't want my VA to have admin rights. They don't need admin rights. So they've fixed a lot of things and they're slowly improving it and all that. If you're using other affiliate programs, other affiliate programs outside of Amazon, then Lasso is a pretty good one. If you are only concerned with Amazon links primarily, AmaLinks Pro is very good. I'm an affiliate for both Lasso and AmaLinks Pro. I also have used AAWP. A lot of people do like AAWP. The problem with it is the creators don't like strictly follow the operating agreement that Amazon has for us associates. So it is possible for you to violate the operating agreement if you're using AAWP, which is bad. I can't believe that they do that, but they allow you to do things that just, it's just not allowed. So if I had to make a recommendation, if you are going to be working with a lot of different affiliate programs, Lasso seems good. If you only have one site, Lasso seems good. If you are just going to be working with Amazon primarily, which is the case for a lot of people most of the time, then AmaLinks Pro, probably the way to go. Have a look at each of their sales pages, and then you'll probably have an idea which one you like. And I'm not sure, but I think you can do a trial, like a 14-day trial with Lasso. And one of the things that's interesting, and I come from a software background, to a different software tool or a different version, it's like a pain in the ass. There's going to be issues that come up that no one expected. So when you, let's say, actually this was the case for me. So I've been using like a certain technique to put my affiliate links in. And it's across many sites, hundreds, thousands, maybe not thousands, but there's a lot of places where it would need to be updated. So the cost of migration, let's say Lasso, let's say it was a magical tool and it was free and it actually worked better than what I had, and I would make 1% more every month, for example. If the cost of me migrating to the free tool that makes me 1% more is high enough, I'm just not going to do it because I don't care about 1%. If I'm going to make 50% more, well, that's interesting. The data on that would be amazing to get a hold of, but that's the problem. It has to not only it can't just be equal. It can't just be a little cheaper. It can't just be a little bit better. It needs to be remarkably better to go through the pain of migration. And for people that have changed themes, maybe you moved to a different kind of service, maybe you changed a plugin, there's some nightmares that can happen and you don't know until you get started. I did enough in my corporate gig that I saw it happen on someone else's dime in these big, multi-million-dollar projects where you don't want to go through that pain. I've tried to switch themes and, you may use a theme where there's short codes and stuff all over the place. You have 100, 200 posts that you have to go clean and scrape all the formatting because of the short codes. It's a huge cost and it's really boring work to do. So, okay. What was the question? All right, Kathy, what's going on? Good to have you on. We got a big crowd today. I need to do a better job like this naming the live streams. I'll just have to put something like that. Oh, and Recreational Combat says, Alex Cooper got me into affiliate marketing. That's cool. Yeah, I just chatted with him earlier today. It's cool, like having a channel, having this sort of, I guess, platform. But I pinged Alex and I was like, hey man, what do you think of this hosting company? And then he called me up and we talked for a few minutes. So kind of fun, kind of fun. Oh, Nathan, what's going on? Nathan's on here talking, just shout out to Nathan. Anna says, according to your experience, which is better, best product for X or best products for X, singular or plural? I don't think it matters. Generally, Google treats those the same. Someone may have an opinion, but I don't think so. Biz Wadab. Sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name. What will be your SEO approach to a site which makes resumes or a CV? I'm assuming you mean it's a service where they make resumes. So it's the same boring stuff. Publish content, keyword driven, promote the site, figure out the best way to promote the site for that specific topic. I would guess LinkedIn is probably the place you want to go and promote that kind of stuff. You'll probably build relationships. I would also do like podcast outreach as well. You'll get links that way and reach the audience. David says, did I ever use Content Refine for articles? You see that they offer that now. I like the Content Refine folks. I'm not associated with the offer that you're talking about at all. I believe they do a great job with content. I've only got their content improvement stuff. I think they call it content upgrades, which is a poor name because that means something else in marketing, but they are upgrading the content. They're improving the content. I've only used that stuff and it worked very well for me. And I like the folks at Content Refined. I'm an affiliate. All right. Jeanette says, does KGR work for YouTube? So not directly because you can't get the search volume for YouTube videos, but basically if you find a keyword that is KGR, you may as well publish a video for it. Eric says, is it normal for traffic to have a big drop in views like what happened to my website in January? Depends on the niche, but I know one of my sites, it gets a lot more traffic in November and December, and there's really a pretty big drop off. And I can see like every single year it does that. So depends on the niche. If it's one of those products where a lot of people are searching for it around the holidays, it's a big gift. Or people are researching it so they know what to tell people to get for them. And if people are not searching for it the same way in January, then yes, that is definitely going to happen. Recreational Combat says YouTube and blogging is the way to go. I think, yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, it's repurposing content. And quick example. So I mentioned that I'm going to be doing a lot more case studies coming up and just documenting them. So one of them is my site. One of them is my case study that I'll be documenting. I'll actually be doing a YouTube video and a podcast each month on that topic, which is kind of cool. So I realize that there's some people, some of my friends, right, that are on YouTube, or they have some other thing going on. And I was like, oh, you know what? Case studies are great. I haven't been a good person to follow through with case studies on an ongoing basis. And I was thinking, how can I work with people that get a benefit from covering it on my blog? And then I, of course, get the content in the case study material. So part of that is I saw like Charlie, for example, who I interviewed last summer. He has a YouTube channel. And I was like, oh, you know what? He was writing and documenting stuff anyway. What if he just put it on my blog? More people are going to read it. And then he has a YouTube channel that he wants to grow. And I was like, oh, it's perfect. He's writing content and notes and making these updates already. And I was like, hey, you want to write it up? I'll publish it on Niche Site Project, and then we can cross promote each other. So it's a great deal for everybody. Right? So he gets access to my audience. I'm getting content in an interesting case study. I may have overdone it because I'm going to have a few of these going on, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm definitely interested in like revitalizing my blog over there. I've let it sort of, I don't know, I've kind of neglected it. There's a lot of content I need to delete and redirect, or just delete and have it go away. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And I know, I mean, I love the case studies. I still check in on some of the ones that are going on just because they're interesting. Dogs Love This says, my website is almost 6 months old. It's not showing up in the SERPs. How long does the Sandbox take? Can you please tell me about the Sandbox? Sure. Roughly about 6 months. Sometimes it could take longer, like I said, up to a year. And I have a video on the Sandbox. So go to my channel page. There's a little search bar. Type in Sandbox. It actually might be one of the top videos there. Type in Sandbox. Watch that video. It'll give you some tips. And basically, I mentioned earlier, maybe you just joined up here. I have a site. Amin mentioned he has a site. It's a little over 6 months, and it hasn't quite got out of the Sandbox. I've heard from some people their site gets out of the Sandbox after 4 months, and other people, they're like, it took like 10 months, and then it sort of took off. It's very interesting. I think it maybe has something to do with the competition level, maybe the amount of content on your site, that sort of thing. As far as what it is, it's sort of some people don't think it exists at all, but generally it seems like Google throttles down the amount of like traffic that you can get by kind of suppressing your rankings until you reach 6 months. For some people, I've heard them say the site hit 6 months exactly, and then they started ranking for a few more keywords, impressions went up on the Search Console, traffic followed. The thing is, you never know. And I hear from other people, they're like, it seemed like there was no Sandbox at all, started getting traffic right away. And Ali says, yeah, I think I already answered about the 0 all-in title. All right. Palab says in 24 hours, one site lost traffic, another got boosted. Is there an algorithm update? Not to my knowledge, but it is, there's always things going on. I would check the traffic sources and make sure that's organic traffic. If you lost a bunch of traffic, there always could be some sort of technical issue on your hosting. So there's a few things you should check out there. All right, Dimitri says, was my first site successful? No. And what was the reason? So my first site wasn't successful. I started it roughly, say, 4 to 6 weeks after I found smart passive income. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to buy hosting. I got Bluehost, and I bought like that old crappy piece of software, Market Samurai. By that time, I think he had switched to Longtail Pro, but I was like following some older stuff. So anyway, I got Market Samurai, and then I was like, oh shit, this is out of date. I did poor keyword research because I found sort of an obscure niche that wasn't monetizable in a very easy way, kind of like the medieval. I don't know how to say it. I'm gonna have to. You know what? Well, let's check it out here. I got Google right at my fingertips here. So I can say, I got to move all these windows and say, how to pronounce medieval. All right, I'll try to turn up I'm not sure if it'll play here. Playing a YouTube video here. Is it playing through the headphone? Can we hear that? Medieval. Can we hear that? Everybody hear that? Medieval. I don't know. It sounds like we're like playing a record backwards here. Yeah, so I did poor keyword research, and it wasn't readily monetizable. So if it was a niche where I could get a lot of traffic, I would have been able to put ads on the site and make a lot of money. But the search volume was low enough, it was obscure enough where it just wasn't going to work out there. So it didn't work out, and I started another site a few months later, and that one did work out, and that is, why I'm still working with Amazon Associates and stuff. Hussein says, I search products and not many websites working on it. Should I go for it? Sure. Prussian Prince says Amalink's Pro lifetime is $7.97, which is a good deal. Yeah, I mean, if you need it, and especially if you have a lot of sites. I'm an affiliate, so it is, if you get it, it's worth it to get my affiliate link. Ali says, can we apply KGR on other recurring affiliate programs? I don't honestly know how you can use KGR on affiliate programs. If you're talking about keywords, then it doesn't matter. It's just keyword agnostic. Like, it doesn't matter. You can monetize however. I think you're just asking your question in an odd way. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, we got a celebrity in the house, old Matt. Matt, I owe you an email. I think I just get behind on email. So I hopped into your live stream earlier. Everyone check out Matt's stuff if you haven't. All right. Palab Kishore says, if I plan to make 3 niche sites and put 30 to 40 articles on each, using the KGR in 6 to 8 months, how long will it take to rank on Google? The answer is I don't know. There's no way to answer that. And 30 or 40 articles in 1 year, okay for a single site. Sure, that is fine. Highly recommend you do one site at a time until you figure out what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, then it's probably going to be a problem. So, okay. You're going to make those mistakes. I went through the little spiel earlier. It's easy to make the same mistake multiple times. If you do it on 3 to 4 sites on 30 to 40 articles, it's going to be a real pain in the ass. All right. Jeanette says, I would say that the video is doing well because of my email that I sent earlier. That's why I decided to watch. I was interested from the beginning. Cool. Which email was that the notification email from YouTube, or was it like the email that I sent to my email list earlier today? Because I didn't even link to it, right? I didn't link to it in the email. Paul says, any plans to visit Vegas? Not in the short term, but I haven't been in a while. Matt says, is there a way you know that you can find out what keywords people are using to find your YouTube videos on Google? Not that I know of. I know in the analytics, it'll show you the keywords that people are finding your video on YouTube search. I suspect it's probably the same, but I don't know where to find that officially. Good question. Emmanuel says, how do I stop Google Analytics from tracking the admin login? Well, number one, I wouldn't worry about it too much, but you can put in your IP address into Google Analytics, and that should probably take care of it. All right, I'm catching up on the chat. Adarsh says, how long does it take for a post to rank in the SERPs after updating it? It depends, but usually it's like less than a week if you're updating it. Eric says, do I have any tips on getting traffic for digital products? Currently struggling with this. My route is produce content in various formats. So YouTube, podcast, the blog. Hopefully you get some natural, search traffic, and then you rope them in to watching your content. Then you can talk about it like I am today. And I haven't plugged it in a while since the very beginning of the video. We're pushing 90 minutes here. Multi-profit site. There's some awesome bonuses coming out this week. And those bonuses are available only till the end of day on Friday. So that is the 15th, 11:59 p.m. Mountain Time. So, Eric, that is the way I have done it. I think I like the natural sort of search, whether it's on YouTube or on Google, versus going on, say, social media, because I know I see videos where people are like, I'm selling, 6 figures per day on Instagram. Here's how to do it, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, you could do that, but I feel like it's just a churn. Like you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. So, Richard, what's up? Good to have you. Good to have you on. Anna says, is it good to remove articles that are not ranking well? Potentially, but I would sort of treat that as like a site audit situation. So I'm going to be doing this with Niche Site Project in the near term. I occasionally get started on it, but it's something where I should probably lock myself here in the office and just delete a bunch of stuff and clean it up and spend 2 weeks doing it. All right. Matt says, you wanted to have me on live this week, but you wanted more time to plan a thing. I have an idea to do a KGR challenge. Fantastic. We should talk about it. And I think, I was launching my course this week, so I was kind of like not scrambling, but I was pulling some stuff together. So I was like, all right, I'll get back to Matt soon. But got to get over to the brewery, man. Okay. Jeanette says it was from the email list. All right. Oh, Michelle, what's up? Okay, Jeanette says there was no link, but I quickly mentioned 10K a year, which is the same title as the video. Man, that's pretty smart. So people, so maybe kind of behind the scenes, maybe there were enough people who thought, wow, that's kind of cool. And then they went to YouTube and a lot of people clicked on it when it was suggested. So it was suggested to more people. Man, YouTube's so tricky because I used to send links out to these live streams and 15 people would show up. I don't know like if it was suggested to many folks, but it's like if you don't actually put the link in, you end up like having the natural algorithm work better. Very interesting. Matt says you had a video that blew up in the traffic source is external, but we have no idea what we're ranking for all of a sudden. Holy crap, that's cool. I heard you mention that on the live stream. That's pretty cool. I haven't had anything like blow up like that external. I wonder, it may take a little while for the data to come in, but I think you might be able to use Ahrefs and search for the video URL to see what it's ranking for, and then that would give you some data. I haven't used that much. It'll probably take a couple weeks for the data to come in, but that might be the way to do it. All right. Palab says, thanks for the reply. That's cool. Michelle says, pumped your site has aged 3 years and the last years of content push is paying off. Fantastic. That's very good. Michelle says, you need a clean house. Doug, I spent 3 days over the holidays cleaning the office, computer, and you feel ready to take on more writing. That's awesome. Darsh says, I recently updated a post which brought in the most traffic. I was scared that I'd have to wait 6 months. No, it's usually really fast. It's very cool to do, which is one of the reasons like tools like Page Optimizer Pro, Market Muse are awesome to just go in and improve content. So probably the process I'm going to go through is I'll need to look at like my analytics to see like what posts are getting like virtually no traffic, especially from organic. I also have a fairly lengthy autoresponder series, which one thing that Matt and Corbett talked about on the Money Lab live stream is kind of starting over. And I have some good emails and I have some good content. I'm going to keep the very best. Some of it I kept around because it was okay and I needed to, fill a slot in the email sequence. But at this point, I have some really good ones, and there's a strong argument in my head, me arguing with myself in my head, that maybe I should have a leaner, shorter autoresponder series, one that I rewrite every 6 months or a quarter, so I can just keep the very best from the last 6 months or a quarter. Some of my case studies that I share, I know they're still valid. I know they're still valuable, but they're from 2 years ago or even 4 years ago. Some stuff is, probably tweaked, needs to be a little bit updated, but some of it's still quite valid. I need to go back and update it. So I'm not quite sure how much I'm going to end up doing, but I'll go through, delete content, 301 redirected as necessary. Some stuff will just be deleted. And then for the autoresponder, I'm probably going to scrap, 50, 80% of it or so and rewrite it from scratch. So I actually turned off a autoresponder like campaign that I have over at Aweber. So whoever's in it is going to finish it. And then I'm going to go back to square one. So I'm not sure. I may need to check from a technical standpoint exactly what's going to happen. All right. Oh, Richard says, what's the difference between the 6-figure and the new multi-profit course? So, and Richard, good question. I believe you're, of course, a student of the old 5-figure niche site. So when Amazon changed the commission rates in April of 2020, I was like, you know what? The old course is still working, but a lot of the early units are, I mean, everything's oriented around Amazon. So the new course is built on the same foundation. So a lot of the steps, a lot of the units are the same as far as the type of content they cover. But some of the differences are I'm using like all sort of new tools. There are some tools that I used in Five Figure Niche Site that were more specific, and I moved away from that and to provide like more conceptual things. I do provide demos using the tools that I use right now. It's cleaner too, just in general. It's a cleaner experience. There are a couple new and different units and some that are very close to the same, especially the advanced units, which I know you have access to. So the advanced units are like email list building, selling a 6-figure site, that sort of stuff. Those are going to be mostly the same. There's one about what to do when you're stuck. Your site's plateaued, you're not quite sure where you should spend time. And then scaling with, I think it's like scaling content. And there's a lot to do with outsourcing there. So there's a couple different tweaks. If you check out the sales page, Richard, and you go down to the unit by unit section, you're probably going to see some stuff that's very familiar, and then you'll see some stuff that's new. So that's the main difference. Okay, and Cannon says, from India, I'm new in affiliate marketing. Please give me a motivational speech. I'm not a good coach. I really don't do motivational speeches, so I won't play along with that. And oh yeah, and Money Lab, Matt says Hrefs probably the right place, but too early, not enough data yet. All right. Eric says, I'm pretty new to the channel and you're trying to go full-time with your blog. You have 15,000 views. What videos do I recommend of my channel? So like many things, it depends on like what you need help with. So I'll give you some ideas. If you're looking for like keyword research kind of stuff, there's a new playlist on the keyword golden ratio. That's probably going to be very helpful. If you have keywords figured out, and you need help with content, there's some content playlists. One is around RPM, the research paper method. One is about FAQs. So you may be able to tweak stuff on your existing blog to just like boost what you have already. There's some content about scaling your content team. There's videos about that. And you can hire people, put an editor in place, kind of take yourself out as the bottleneck. And then, let's see, there's a bunch of content on link building as well. So I would take a look at those. Anything that you're sort of struggling with, go to the main channel page, go to the search bar, and then search for whatever you need. And for everyone on here, if you're not signed up for my email list, you can go to nichesiteproject.com. Click the green button, and then you enter your name and email. I'll send you all my templates and point you in the right direction. You'll go to the autoresponder sequence that I will be rewriting, but there's good stuff in there. And if you want to be like Jeanette, who actually found out about this live stream, that's why she's here. That's exactly like how she found out. She's like, oh man, that's a cool video. I saw the email. That's a good email. She enjoyed it apparently. And then we have a bunch more people on here, which is pretty amazing, which is why I'm staying on so much longer than I normally do. Usually it's pretty tight 60 minutes here, but we got quite a few and definitely should pop over. Wow, that was someone rang the doorbell. So Georgie's going nuts out there. So nuts. Abuzar. Good night. Yeah, good to have you on. Palab says, tell us about AMP plugin. I don't do any of the AMP stuff, so I don't know anything about it. Sean says you'll be jumping on more of these. Fantastic. Yeah, tell your friends. Share this one out there. I try to do a good job with the live streams, and it makes it feel better when more people are. And I love it when, David and Adrian and Michelle and some of the other crew, they show up and there's 10 of us around. And I guess I just have to do a better job naming the videos. When I just put the generic one in there, no one cares. Key says, I imagine the people that got your live video probably have Gmail as an email account, and then Gmail and YouTube being both part of Google. That's the suggestion. Who knows? Yeah, I have no clue. I did see an improved click-through rate for my videos when I didn't send out the link directly to the video, and I just told people to go to my channel and find it. So it's like people need to search for it and then seek it out. Deb Das says, is there any new method other than KGR for choosing topics? Not that I know of, and I have to ask you, why would do you want something new or effective? New or effective? Oh, and Recreation Combat says, Hasta la Vista Boss is great for motivation. Yeah, he was a student of mine. He's been on the channel a few times. So yeah, he is motivational. Really good with branding. He has like fucking gear and t-shirts, hats, and all sorts of stuff. So check his stuff out. Adrian's cool. Vivek says, can we build a site in UK Amazon? Will it be profitable? The answer is yes, you can. The answer is it could be profitable. I don't know you or what you're going to do, but the UK is a fine country and a fine program. I would recommend you aim for other, English-speaking affiliate programs too. But yeah, if you just want to do UK, that'll be just fine. Nick209 says, I was approached by a link building service and they asking me to pay for an article placement on my site. What are my views on the pros and cons going for that? Interesting. So whatever they offer to you, I would recommend you bust their balls on the negotiation. So that's number one. The other thing, the cons are basically people are inserting links, and then you're going to be, if you do it very much, you're probably going to be exposed as part of like a link building network situation. If you do it very, sparsely, you don't have very many links on your site, you don't have many posts that do that, you'll probably be okay. But I mean, that is how a lot of the companies do build links. They're just like, hey, we'll give you $25 if you put a link on this article or post our thing. Me personally, I would make sure it doesn't create any work for you. So if they send you a guest post and it's a piece of shit, then don't do it. So you don't want to create more work for yourself. And if they're only offering like a small amount, then, maybe just skip it. Jashawn says, I'm doing Amazon affiliate for the past 2 years. I make $100 per month and I have 51 posts. Fantastic. Congratulations. See, people can do it. Adrian is posting the link for my site. So that'll be awesome if people sign up. Paul says, dogs are barking. They probably don't agree with the affiliate stuff. I'm not sure who came by. I have my little ring here. Someone's at the front door. Let's see. I don't see the image. Everything seems fine now. Everything seems like it's good. Let's change cameras for a second here. Zulkornan says, I have a new website, 9 articles, 3 months old, 18 clicks, 327 impressions, and average position is 68.5. Is it doing well? Please guide. I don't know. I find these questions odd. So, Zulkornan, you're taking action. That's fantastic. Do this. Publish 30 articles and then come back and tell us the results. As far as, are you doing good right now? There's too many factors. It depends on what your goals are and what you're trying to do. If those were the results for another person, they may be thrilled. If it was some other person, they may be very disappointed. So how do you feel about how you're doing? That's probably most important. You're getting clicks, you're getting some impressions, and you publish some articles. I think that's fantastic. I think you're doing well, but is your site doing well? I don't know. I can't really answer that for you. All right, I've thought about, this is Eric says, I've thought about hiring writers, but I just started with ads this month and you're not earning a lot. Cool. Just take it slow. You don't want to overextend or anything like that. Elise says, is KGR universal? Yes, it's universal. Any keyword research, it's fine. Kazi says, your biggest fan is here. Fantastic. All right, we do have a lot of people on, but we're going on close to 2 hours. My voice is starting to go, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to work out today. I should always do something. Let's see how many steps I have. Clocking in at 11,000. Oh, I can switch cameras here. 11,000. Not focus very well. 11,000 some odd. So the thing is, I don't know if Matt anything to drink in whatever 13 days. What's the date today? Yeah, 13 days. Feeling good. I'm sleeping amazingly. It's insane. I mean, I knew alcohol was horrible for your sleep, and it had been a while since I've gone off the sauce. So sleeping better. I think I'm working a little faster. I haven't started losing the fat yet. I don't worry about the weight so much. I'd rather, lose some fat, which I got pretty soft over this COVID time and the holidays and all that. So I haven't lost any fat yet. I think that usually takes 2 to 3 weeks before it kicks in. So basically, hopefully that'll be coming next. Matt says he hasn't been drinking much beer either. And did your sleep get better? I may also make a couple very low alcohol session beers, 2% or something like that. And I think that would help a lot. All right. Abu Zar says, you see a lot of ups and downs in blogging. What are mistakes you made and don't recommend anyone to make the same mistakes too? I think my biggest mistakes were around doing too many things at once. So when I first got laid off, I tried a service-based business. I was working on a couple affiliate sites. I was blogging on Niche Site Project, and I think I was probably doing 2 other things as well. It was very stressful. There were a lot of moving pieces. I always felt like I was behind. I thought it was a good thing to do because then I could see what was working and then, pick what I wanted to work on. Eventually, as I pruned things off, I did much better in the few things that I was continuing to work on. So I would encourage you to not do too many things at once. And the second thing is don't jump around. So I didn't really make this mistake, but there was a question earlier about drop shipping, and it's why do people do drop ship, or why don't people do drop shipping? Why do people do affiliate marketing? It's a different skill set, but what I have seen is people do affiliate marketing, and it doesn't really work in the first 6 weeks or whatever. Then they go to drop shipping, it doesn't work, and then they go to Kindle publishing, and that doesn't work, and then they try to do some YouTube or Instagram, and that doesn't work either. And they're just jumping around. They never spend enough time on something to learn those beginner mistakes to not do anymore. And they end up just being mediocre at several different things. Nothing seems to work out. They get very discouraged. I usually stick with something for a really long time. So that's what I recommend. Kazi says SEMrush says keyword difficulty is way more, where the KGR is compliance. What should be done? So you'll have to balance those out and look at, what you see is more accurate. So if you look at the SERPs and you can see this term looks way more competitive based on specific keywords and the KD number at SEMrush versus the KGR, you'll have to look at those and analyze on your own. Steven says, am I hiring VAs or SEOs? I really want to work with you. I've been doing SEO for 2 years now. Not currently. I have my executive assistant. I like a lean team, and then potentially content overhaul and audit on niche site project. I actually am not sure. I usually don't hire people from my audience that solicit me on the live stream or anything. But normally people are like, hey, I want to work on your niche site. I want to write content for you. And then they write something that unfortunately has like grammar mistakes or something like that. So I would obviously not hire them for content. And they're just like random people. So anyway, if you have SEO chops on content auditing and that sort of thing, that potentially could be something. You could shoot me an email, doug@nichesiteproject.com. Okay, here's something you probably shouldn't do. So Kazi says, Doug, I need one-on-one mentoring for cheap, please. All right, you're better than that. You said you're the biggest fan and all that stuff, but you must know that trying to get me for cheap is just a silly thing, right? Anna says, what do I recommend as the best quality for writing? Upwork, ProBlogger, text broker, agencies. It really depends on the specific writer from any one of those areas. So I've heard, people have really good luck with each of those. Probably less with text broker, more of a random crapshoot, but Upwork, ProBlogger, and agencies are often pretty good. I think you could find some low quality stuff with agencies if you don't watch out. Hona says, you caught me at the end. Yeah, I'm hopefully wrapping up soon, but we still have like over 65 people. Amazing. All right. Jishan says, my income's low. Can I suggest how to grow my earnings? So I've already mentioned this another time today already, but improve the existing content and then add more of it. So that is basically the simple approach. You can find videos on the channel on how to do it. Highly recommend the FAQ stuff. Oh man. Matt says, I consistently get over 8 hours of sleep, and you get that even when you're stressed or drinking. So when I'm drinking, I not only have to like get up and pee in the middle of the night, but I'll like wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning. Usually if I have more than like three high alcohol beers or like 4 plus, and then I'll end up waking up. Usually don't sleep as soundly, and a lot of times I'll wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. It's a nightmare. So I've been getting over 8 several times, but not every single night, even when I'm not drinking. Okay, so I get this often too, and since Kazi is not taking the hint, in fact, I think you send me emails too. So I get these kind of offers too. I can give you an offer which you can't refuse. Let's do a partnership in my blog. I'll do something, you will only be a silent partner. So I'm not sure why people come to me with this offer. What do I get out of this situation? I'm not sure. So I don't get it. I'm not really good to me. Zero investment except my time, which is extremely valuable. Elise says, and seriously, Kazi or other people, if I'm missing something with these silent partner offers, like, would love to hear it. Ali says, what do I think if a keyword has 800 searches but the all-in title is 4 and the keyword difficulty is below 20 according to Ubersuggest? Go for it. The worst thing that will happen is you publish content and then it doesn't rank. The best thing that will happen is it ranks and then you get traffic. So as far as a keyword that has 800 searches, oftentimes it will take a little bit longer to rank, even if there's only 4 all in title. There's a video that I have, and it's why 250 in the keyword golden ratio, and it will answer the question you have specifically. All right, Steven says, I can write and post content for the niche sites. And again, this is the thing that I don't go for. All right, 1 second here. Just got to hop into the chat and... All right, Kazi, put you in timeout, so don't be a jerk. Hona says, FAQ rich snippets and questions and answers on product pages. Will Google see that as duplicate content? Answers on product pages. I don't know. I'm not sure. If it's just a small, I'm not sure I follow the question exactly, but if you have just a small amount of duplicate content, like if it's 2 sentences or something, probably not a big deal. If it's a large amount of content that's duplicated, then maybe that's more of an issue. Vildana says, do I advertise on Facebook or other platforms? No. And AHM says, in Pakistan, big name in blogging, Ismail blogger, he introduced your KGR in Pakistan and he is in love with your KGR techniques. He's very successful and professional. So the thing is, this dude, I don't know him. He emailed me like a few years ago and he was like, I'm going to copy your stuff and I'm going to do it in Pakistan and I'm not going to give you much credit for it. And I was like, dude, I don't agree with that. I don't think so. And yeah, sure enough, this dude ripped my stuff, does it in Pakistan. I'm not sure the name of the language. So you'll maybe hear my name every once in a while, but it's absurd, absolutely absurd. And I have people that ping me and they're like, hey, he's saying he came up with all this stuff. It's pretty amazing. He is very successful. Yeah, his channel's huge. Okay, and Hona says, I created a lot of Q&As on product pages on my site, but I'm not sure if I can use the exact Q&As as the rich snippets. Okay, I don't know. I would try to write them a little bit more uniquely, or have things written uniquely. And I'm not sure what you're talking about as far as like the FAQ rich snippets. Like, are you writing specific rich snippets? I'm not sure I understand. Okay, and I think we'll wrap it up here. So Emmanuel says, do you recommend I use paid stock images or free stock images for the blog? Most likely the paid ones are going to be higher quality. So I would probably do a mix of the two. I think there's probably some free ones that are fine. Recreational Combat says, if you can take your own images, I think they rank better. I think that's probably true too. And last question here. Steven says, do I keep my sites or flip them? How long can a site go on before getting hit? Keep some, sell some. How long can they go before they get hit? It depends on the site. Some sites are never going to get hit. Some sites are going to get hit often. And really, it's really hard to tell. Kiki says, if someone copies your content, how does Google tell who wrote it first? Whoever did it earlier. Yeah, usually they'll have a pretty good idea. Do they have a tool to report it? I think they do have a tool, but if someone copies your content, which I almost forgot, I have a video idea. Someone copied my content from Niche Site Project, and I got an alert because I have like a Google alert set up for a couple on my name actually. So I saw they copied an article and left my name in it, and then they published it. So if someone copies your content, you should submit a is it DMCA? Is that what it is? I always get the C and the M mixed up. DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. So file that, because if you're just working with Google, like who knows where it's going to go, what actions are going to take. If you submit the DMCA, their site gets shut down. So shit happens fast then. All right, cool. And Hona says, thanks for the insights, fella. You're welcome. And you'll book me for a consult. Very good. Gotcha. So AHM says, Ishmael respects me and he loves me. So he's mentioning Doug's my teacher and he's the king in the blogging field. Maybe that's it. Maybe he said, I'm going to say that you're my teacher. And I was like, dude, you were never my student. We've never worked together. I don't know who this dude is. But if he's giving me shout outs, that's cool. I don't think there's a strong correlation between like, him taking customers from me or anything like that. Recreational Combat says, you always seem to learn something. That's fantastic. Thanks everyone for hopping on. If you're not signed up for the email list, please do nichesiteproject.com. You can sign up there. And if you're interested in signing up for the course, Multi-Profit Site, there's a link in the description. Would love to have you on board. There's some great bonuses this week that are available. And Kazi says, how can we book you for a consultation? There's a link in the description. There's a hire me page on Niche Site Project. And I think we've already emailed each other, and I think you were just trying to do a free consult. Dave, Happy New Year as well. And Happy New Year to everyone. We'll catch you next week. Have a great day out there. And get rid of this. There we go. Yeah. So thanks everybody. Catch you next week.